How's it going, Star Seekers? My name's Gotcake, and today I'm bringing you a quick review of a game called Mastercube, a twin-stick arcade shooter where you control a cube instead of a spaceship and have to shoot as many various neon-coloured objects as you can in order to score the highest point. So starting at the main menu, right away we can see this game straight up does away with all the bullshit. Options menu, no sir, not today. Tutorial, here we provide on-the-job trial by death training. Credits, if you don't give a shit, neither do we. Even the game's eShop description adopts this no bullshit stance and keeps things simple. So the only option we have is to start the game and get what's coming to us. Now gameplay in Mastercube is about as vanilla as it comes for twin stick shooters, bar the odd choice of us having a cube to control. We move our cube around the screen with a left thumbstick and aim our auto fire with the right thumbstick. Now all we need to do is rack up our score seen in the bottom left corner by blasting away at the various enemies that spawn at random both on and off screen. We have a total of 3 lives, or cubes in this case, which can be seen in the top left corner of the screen, and colliding with an enemy will cost us a life. After losing all 3 lives, it's then game over and our final score will be shown. Now there's no high score leaderboards in Mastercube, so when you begin a new game, any evidence of your best score is gone for good. So when it comes to enemy shapes, there are a few different types, each with their own movement patterns. We have these blue shapes, which are called dodecahedrons, just in case you were wondering, and these move in straight lines, sort of like standard asteroids. We have these red testicle looking enemies which move away from us when we approach them directly, red circles which take multiple shots to kill, green circles which slowly home in on us, and finally purple arrows which also home in on us and split into 3 smaller arrows when we destroy them. As mentioned before, these enemies spawn at random, and when I say random, I mean it. There's literally no indication on when or where enemies will spawn, and on many occasions enemies will spawn directly on top of you or right next to you, usually resulting in you colliding with them before you got a chance to react. Now whilst playing, every so often a large bunch of enemies will spawn at random in an X shape across the screen. As before, there's no warning before this happens, so it can sometimes lead to an instant death. But if you remain central, you should survive the initial spawning. After this happens, most of the shapes are easy to handle with some swift manoeuvring and shooting, but it's the purple arrows which present the biggest issue. And I've coined the term being purple fucked, because on the frequent occasions when you're unlucky enough to have a bunch of these spawning, you're literally fucked, due to the fact that they split into 3 and you never have enough firepower to handle them or enough room to manoeuvre through them. In fact, I've only once come close to surviving being purple fucked, but every other time just resulted in me dying. Now continuing with the plain Jane gameplay mechanics, there are also no power-ups in Mastercube, but the number of projectiles you fire eventually doubles, and eventually it sometimes even triples, but I have no idea when or why this occurs, and sometimes your triple shot will just drop back down to a double shot for no apparent reason. It also seems like you gain an additional life when you reach a certain score threshold, but your lives in the top corner don't change to indicate this, and it could just in fact be a bug that resulted in me losing no lives for this death. Now the controls in the game are fine and its visuals are okay, but again generic. But the game's music is very inconsistent, with its genre ranging from rock and roll to electronica tracks. Oh, and when you pause the game, this happens, and for some reason you can tap the A button to make it go even more apeshit. Lastly, I want to mention that there's actually no quick way of restarting a game, so the only way to begin a new one is to lose all your lives. So in all, Mastercube is just one big bare bones twin stick shooter, which lacks any real creativeness in its gameplay mechanics and suffers from ill thought out enemy spawning. Now I did have some fun playing the game, but the issues I mentioned got in the way, and when an arcade shooter has no high score recording system, is there even any point in playing it? So now we come to rating the game. Now I rate games between 1 and 5 stars, with a sure stamp of approval reserved for the worst games on the eShop. This rating is based on my own personal opinion on what a game has to offer in terms of gameplay and value for money to potential buyers. And for a rating I'd give Mastercube 0 stars, and instead I'll be awarding it a shovelware stamp of approval. The game is just lacking in every way possible, has less to offer content wise than even the shittiest of mobile ports, and its price tag is simply unjustifiable. So don't go and buy this game from the UK Switch eShop for £4.49 or from the US eShop for $5.49. or even on PlayStation 4 or Steam, where the game appears to have been greenlit since 2015, but has clearly had nothing done with it since then. How's it going, Starseekers? Hope you enjoyed this review of Mastercube, and if you did, hit that like button and drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to subscribe for future Nintendo Switch game reviews and content, and jump onto the Starseekers Discord server to join its growing community. For now though, I just want to say thanks once again for watching, and until next time, game on.